My girlfriend wants to get another pet when we already have 4, so I put my foot down and said no, but I think she loves animals so much that she's about to put me down instead. Posted by you/too many pets. My 27M girlfriend, 24F, loves animals. She is a legal secretary for her job and also works as a small animal specialist on the side. She's been a small animal specialist for 4 years, and after getting her real job, she decided to keep her other job for fun. At home, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. All of them are her pets. Her jobs are highly demanding, and when she isn't working, she's in the den organizing huge dog adoption events. Every 4 or 5 months, she manages to bring about 60 dogs up from high-kill shelters around the US and finds every dog a home. I think that's a cool thing she does, but she literally stays up until 3 a.m. planning flights and managing people to get the dogs securely to the holding center, etc. Then she wakes up at 6 a.m., goes to work until 5 p.m., goes to her other job until 10 p.m., comes home, and repeats the process. On her days off, she takes her dogs to the park or goes on hikes. She lavishes her pets with new beds and the best food, and when she is working, she sends the dogs to daycare, etc. As you can see, her days are filled with animals, and I feel like I'm not even a part of this relationship. When she isn't with animals, she's reading or doing her own thing. We've been out to dinner together maybe twice in the past month. She isn't distant or rude, she always lets me in on what she's doing and asks if I want to help or if I want to go to the park with her or on a hike, but I don't want to because it's always about the animals and not me. Anyway, last night before we went to bed, she said she was thinking about getting a tree frog to put in the den because she really liked the calming presence they give off. I just think that was the straw that broke the camel's back because I told her that's insane. I told her I'm tired of all the animal stuff she's involved in. I told her she needs to grow up, and I told her absolutely no to the tree frog idea. At first, she was quiet, but then she said something about how animals are her passion and that what she does isn't stupid. She said she'll never get tired of animals and pointed out that I have my own hobbies too that she doesn't think are stupid or childish. She then said that tree frogs are close to nothing maintenance-wise and that they're just pretty. Then she started getting upset, cried, and left the room. When I woke up, I found her asleep on the living room floor with the dogs. It's not like we're being overrun with animals, but the amount of them in my life is aggravating. She even brings random lizards home and nurses them back to health. Isn't this all a little insane? She's always loved animals, but now that she makes a substantial amount of money, she does more than ever. I don't get it. Now she wants another animal to fawn over and spend hundreds of dollars on each week? No. I guess I'm just venting for the most part. I feel bad about how she feels, but I still think the time she invests in animals is insane, and since she's in a relationship with me, she should act like it. Commenter. Why would you tell her to grow up? She is grown up, and yes, animals are her hobby. She makes time for her hobby. I think you're just resentful because you aren't spending time with her. She has a right to be upset about what you said. Why don't you sit her down and explain that you think her hobby is great but also time consuming? You would like to spend more time with her and do other things besides activities related to animals. Think of some activities you both haven't experienced that aren't related to your hobbies. Create a hobby you can both enjoy together so you can set aside time for it every week. Ops response. I told her to grow up because she's spending thousands of dollars flying dogs back and forth when she could be using that money to help homeless children. I mean, if she was that determined to donate, or give away, her money. Commenter's response. Then you'd be writing about how your girlfriend is too focused on homeless children and still doesn't pay attention to you. Ops response. No. I see the point in donating money to homeless children, and actually doing something about it is even cooler. I honestly don't understand why she needs to dedicate so much time to animals. Update 1 day later. After reading comment after comment about how I didn't support my girlfriend or care about her passions, I started to see where I was wrong. I do care about her passions. Personally, I am burnt out on animal care. I should have communicated that better instead of blowing up on her. I still, no matter how many protesting comments I get, will never understand why she donates so much money to just animals and not anything else. That was why I told her to grow up. That, and I think her passion for animals is childish, sort of in the way that kids love fairies or mermaids. I feel like it's a phase she never grew out of. I love dogs too, but her deep love of animals is something I overlooked because she always had good jobs, and she is very pretty. I think a lot of people were misguided in calling me a douchebag simply because I miss spending time with my girlfriend. No, I am not jealous of lizards. I think it's absurd to come home and find her bandaging up some lizard's foot, or open up my fridge to find a tub of mealworms for said lizard. I've always loved how dedicated she was to things. Whatever she's doing, she's giving 100%. I just wish she directed that passion to things that really matter. Helping animals is nice and all, but it's not really changing the world. However, I am still deeply in love with a beautiful, sensitive, loving girl I met 5 years ago, and all the comments made it clear that I was being rude to her. So I wrote her an apology letter and went to the nearest pet store to get her a tree frog. I got the tank, lamp, and even crickets. I set up the whole tank in the den where she wanted it and named the tree frog Jinx. I thought my apology and buying the tree frog would help her see that I care and that her passions are cool. Anyway, I waited for Jessica to get home, and finally, when she did, I told her to go look in the den. She still seemed upset and said, "Thank you for the tree frog. I actually bought one before I got off work and had a friend set up the tank for me. It's in my car, I'm gonna go get it. Thank you." She brought the tank in and asked if we could talk for a little bit in our room because she had some things on her mind. She said she didn't want to jump to conclusions, but our relationship wasn't heading in the direction she wanted, and maybe I should find someone more suited to what I like, maybe a quieter, less busy life. I explained to her that I love her deeply, I just want her to tone down her animal life. She said she can't because it's not only her passion, but all the money she makes from being an animal specialist goes to the animals for adoption, vet care, housing, and money to the people who foster the animals when she can't. She said if she toned anything back, she would lose a huge part of herself, and I thought she was being extreme. I told her I loved her, and if that's her choice, then I'd respect it. She said she loved me too, but my actions showed I can't and won't support her. She then referred to many times in our past when I refused to show up to her adoption events, and most memorable for her was when I wasn't there when she was accepting an award. It all became very clear that she didn't want to be with me anymore, and once again, she was choosing animals over me. I accepted it and told her to live her life as she pleases. I told her that I thought she should give money to homeless children too, and she said, sure, do you know any organizations I could help with? But I didn't have any suggestions, and I was already angry and felt like she was giving me a slap in the face. She said that I was missing the point. We ended the conversation shortly after that with us splitting up, and her saying there are things in life that I don't understand, and she can't make me understand. It's just as frustrating for both of us. I agree with her about the frustration part. She said that I can spend as much time as needed to clear my head and that I'm allowed to stay here until I find a new place to live. Unfortunately, the house is hers, and life is going to be weird to adjust to alone. But she's right that it will be less busy and quieter, which I'm excited about and looking forward to. I am also happy about not having to share my home with a tree frog, her 2 dogs, 2 cats, and whatever other critter she brings home for the night. Commenter: oh crap, it's not even your house? I thought it was at least shared. You tried to tell an animal lover, who helps more than most, not to get another animal in her own home. You're a special kind of stupid.